squad, I'm gonna get mine. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm a mad dad when I come down strip. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. Well, what people stay, they sway. War today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the top. Don't cross the line, and you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with?
Oh yeah.
Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
It's your old pal Lefty on the Ignorance is No Excuse podcast. We got a lot to talk about here. Eunice Swumfor possibly have her murderer.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Also, True Leave is leaving Massachusetts. They're shutting down operations and getting rid of everybody. And this is right before a federal investigation begins. The federal investigation was about to begin, and now they're going to stop.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with?
True Leave. Get out.
Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
I hope you can hear the music here.
Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
A lot of times when I do these, you can't hear the music. You can't hear the music sometimes when I do these intros, and it's just very embarrassing. So I don't know what just happened, if you heard it or not. All I can hear is what's going through here. So you may hear it different. If we had a producer, they could be actually doing quality control on their phone. So let me know if we need to do that. Oh, I need to share this on Facebook too. I didn't do that. Hold on. See, I love it. Hold on. Let's do the share. Copy to Facebook. Boom. Oh, my eyes are screwed up. I have been having problems with allergies, and my eyes really suffer from this. They really hurt. They really hurt. Whoa, what the hell is that? What's that? What is this picture? All right. Hold on. That's crazy. All right. Great picture. Great picture of nothing. Oh, boy. That's how we're going to start the show. Terrible. Terrible things happening. Here we go. Let me share it here, too. Oh, terrible picture of nothing. Well, he actually got some messages up there. So, yeah, I'm actually getting out of the way of some good messages. So when you see the link, you'll see what I mean. You'll see the messages with no head in the way. So that's kind of important. Oh, man. Anyone? All right. So, waiting for Adam to join me here in studio. And maybe Mikey will join up too. We have a few guests tonight, hopefully, from different states calling in. In New Jersey, the police have arrested a Virginia resident in the shooting death of Saraville Councilwoman Eunice Swumfor. a close friend and former running mate of Dwumfor's, and said the suspect, Rashid Ali Bynum, 28, of Portsmouth, Virginia, knew the slain councilwoman through their church. Bynum of Portsmouth, Virginia, was arrested without incident outside of a Chesapeake City home, charged with first-degree murder and weapons offenses. So this is a very, who is this? Oh, this is a very complex, extensive case with painstaking police work every single moment. Until today, will continue after today, Sassoni said. So, this is all right. I hope this is the one, and they caught the guy. What is he saying? What is this? What is the suspect saying? Is he admitting to it, or is he saying I was set up? Was he put up to it? Sassoni said Bynum was listed in Dwumfor's cell phone as a contact named FCF, which she said she believes is an acronym for Fire Congress Fellowship. Dwumfor's LinkedIn profile has described her as a business analyst for the Fire Congress Fellowship, which was also associated with her home address in public records. This is very detailed here. It's so sad to, this is a Noah. It's so sad to hear because any sort of service you provide, the motive is to attend to those who need help. So they're saying that this guy came to her for help. So why would he kill her if he went to her for help? I need more information before we just blame this guy. I'd like to know more. They're saying he was he in the area at the time of the murder? I mean, they could trace your cell phones now, so they could follow up where you were. And if you were there at the time of the murder, well, that's not good. You got to explain yourself. To hear that someone had that kind of hate in their heart is hard to hear, said Onoa. I know he knew she had a daughter, and that's a whole new level of hate. Yeah, if he did it, that's really terrible. Like, what? Why? Why would he do this? If she was just trying to help him. See, these are things I didn't know. Sassoni said surveillance video captured a man running from the Saraville complex the night of the shooting. A witness also reported seeing a suspiciously parked white Hyundai nearby, and that, too, was seen on surveillance video. Now, we've never heard about that before until today. That was new. I think there was a video of him with dreads, which is also new, which they were holding back. So, this is interesting. Investigators tracked the cell phone that had traveled from Virginia to New Jersey and then back to Virginia the day of the killing. She said that phone was associated with Bynum. His web history preceding the murder also includes searches for Champions Royal Assembly, the area around Saraville, and information on what magazines were compatible with a specific handgun. Additional records show that Bynum's phone was traveling through E-ZPass locations at the same time as a white Hyundai Elantra bearing Virginia plates. That vehicle was listed online available for rent. Sassoni said a handgun was recovered Tuesday at a Smithfield, Virginia address. Attorney General Matthew Platkin said during a press conference Tuesday He hopes the news of the arrest is the beginning of the healing process for Drumfour's family. Some of her family members were present at the press conference. John Wisniewski, an attorney and former state assemblyman who represents Drumfour's family, said members were shocked but thankful there is some development about who is responsible for Eunice's death. They were obviously frustrated for the past 4 months, not knowing anything, not hearing anything. Wisniewski said family members didn't recognize Bynum's name. They were shown a photo and he didn't look familiar. The question remaining, he said, is why? Why would this person who was accused go to that step? What was the dispute? What was the problem that he thought he was solving? That is a mystery to the family. Drumfour was elected to the Saraville Borough Council in 2021, encouraged by Onoa, who previously had run an unsuccessful campaign for Congress and state legislature. She had already been active in local issues through her work on the borough's Human Relations Commission, a group that focuses on diversity and bias incidents in the small town, according to borough officials. She was the borough council's liaison to its police department when she died. Drumfour had recently married Peter Escachuwu, a resident of Nigeria and fellow congregant of the Champions Royal Assembly. Lauren Beyer, an attorney representing Peter Achuo, said he stayed with Drumfour's family during a recent trip to the U.S. after her death, but had since returned home. He has echoed multiple times that he has faith in the American justice system, she told Gothamist last week, and he has faith that there will be some answers. I am grateful and I have better confidence in law enforcement. Well, interesting. We went to the Saraville Council, and I literally screamed in a D flat diminished, or no, it was a D sharp diminished at Zabrowski. I don't know if you saw that. So nothing changes. I need to go back to Saraville, because Saraville and Zabrowski is a loose end. It's a loose end for me, because nothing changes. No matter what my thoughts were about his involvement, he still needs a black cloud over his head because of all the racism, and for him changing all the black and brown people to white so that his town and his department seems less racist than it actually is. Then he covered it up. So yeah, we are going to go back to Saraville, doubling down, because Zabrowski forced Jeff to get out of his comfort of home when he had cancer, stage 4. His liver was bisected. I think he had his colon, part of his colon removed. He might have been strapped with a chemo bag. And he went up to the Saraville meeting to tell Zabrowski what a what stigma does to a medical cannabis patient. How he stigmatizes MS patients, how he stigmatizes disabled vets, how he was wined, dined, and pocket lined by Kevin Sabet. So Zabrowski was wined, dined, and pocket lined by Kevin Sabet. That's where I just left off. That's where you came in at. Zabrowski was wined, dined, and pocket lined by Kevin Sabet. Can I hear you?
Yo, what's up, Lefty?
Hi. What's up, man?
What's
Mikey, how
going on? Doing good. Talking about Zabrowski?
Zabrowski? Not Chief Zabrowski, not Mr. Zabrowski, just Zabrowski. It's just Zabrowski. That's it. That's it. That's all you get. Zabrowski. That's how I'm gonna refer to him when I speak to him. Hey, Zabrowski. Zabrowski. No, no, no offense. No offense. But how do you say that? With all due respect. With all due respect. That's how you say it.
I'm gonna just call him what his website refers to him as, John.
John. There's no name on there.
John.
Yo, what is that? What is that?
All right, that's shady. That's shady because you should be proud of your company. You should be proud of who you are, who you represent. But they're all just first name on that website. Diane, Joseph, John. What is that?
No last names.
Nope.
I've
Hard,
never seen that.
hard to find them through Google like that. And that company that we're talking about, for anyone who's listening, is the Extra Duty Solutions, is the name of Zambrowski's company that he has contracted with Sayreville Police since 2017.
Extra Duty Solutions?
Extra Duty Solutions, yeah. So if you go on that website and you go and you click on the spot that says who we are, and you can see all of them, they're just all first names.
So wait a minute. He is in charge of the sewers in Sayreville. Like he's the sewer liaison, right? And what's the name of his company?
Extra Duty Solutions.
Extra Duty Solutions. When you have extra duty, I have a solution.
John.
Extra Duty Solutions, really? That's the name of his company is Extra Duty Solutions.
Extra Duty Solutions, yeah.
How do you feel about that, Brandon? I love it. I love it. Okay, well, Brandon loves it. I love it. Extra duty. When you have extra duty, you go to see Zabrowski because he'll take care of your extra duty. Wow.
Yeah, I wonder how many contracts they had that company has or whatever with like however many other police departments.
That's just wow.
And like the concept of their company is so certain towns have are like, you know, understaffed is the concept or whatever. We don't have enough police force. We don't have enough, you know, people to make things run efficiently. So his company offers these extra duty solutions. Essentially, they would take over kind of like county clerk work, you know, working behind the computers, you know, doing a lot of like paperwork and stuff like that. So the officers and everybody else has a lighter duty. So his company contracts with these police departments and they step in and they do, you know, all that kind of work to free them up, to make all of their lives a little easier. That's the concept behind that company. And he's been that company's been contracted with Sayreville Police Department since 2017. You know, he was listed as general counsel on that website for many months. but last time I checked, it said he was like director of organizational development, I think is what it was.
I can't wait to go back there.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah,
He
I want to go
screamed.
back.
He screamed at him in D flat.
I'm not going to scream at him. I'm going to quote the Bible to him next time. But I want to do because he's a loose end for me as far as my cannabis activism. He's one of my loose ends. That Homegrow is a loose end,
I
and
hear you.
he's a loose end.
No, I hear you on that. What? Let me ask you this though. I think maybe we've talked about this briefly, but let me just ask it to you like this: how does the information of this 28-year-old guy who allegedly killed Eunice, how does that make you feel about prior feelings of feeling there's absolute police involvement?
I want more information because it's very easy to set somebody up if you have all their information, if you have access to what they're going to do. If you're eavesdropping on them and you want to get them, somehow you'll find a weakness in their armor and you'll say, okay, this is when you do it. When this guy's here, he's the patsy. This is if the CIA was planning this. This is just supposition.
Yeah,
And
no, I agree. I
and
agree with you. I agree with you because if it's as big as I think both of us were originally thinking, that it would only make sense that it's on that same level of you would cover it up continually. That's what you would have to do. You would have to get somebody to be this person or whatever. I'm not sold on nothing either, and especially if we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this country. I'm not sold on nothing because we don't know nothing. We still don't know nothing. And now there's more questions. And I have a problem with a lot of the stuff that's been reported, like a lot. We all were told, the public was all told that the dark figure ran toward the Garden State Parkway. Remember? Talking about this for months.
A lot of new information came out.
This is what we've been hearing, so we're trying to analyze, imagine what happened that night or whatever. No description. They never gave no description of the person. They never talked about any car involved.
Never.
So we had no information at all this whole time for 4 months, since February 1st, right? So now they've made this arrest. All right. What's weird is now there's this information that's coming out, which I feel like we should have known. Like we should have known about this Hyundai Elantra, right? The suspicious Hyundai Elantra with a Virginia license plate,
right?
That was just creeping around the neighborhood. We should have known about that as the public, right? That there apparently was a witness. Now the prosecutor announced that there was a witness who said that he saw the killer and he was 5'10" to 6 foot, shoulder length dreads. And that's exactly the description of the guy who they've arrested or whatever. We didn't hear about any of this. No. And there was also a witness talking about the Hyundai Elantra. This is, you know what I mean? So why didn't we know about that stuff previously? Just because, I don't know. I just have a problem with it because then the prosecutor also said, if you watch the video, that the suspect ran toward Ernston Road. All right, you guys didn't tell us that. He said he ran toward the Garden State Parkway. I've been trying to imagine how this would have gone down. If he ran toward the parkway, he ran straight in one direction and just kept going. And the only other direction would have been to go to Ernston Road, going down the hill beneath the overpass, right? Which is what they're saying he did, because apparently he parked on this road, Gondek or whatever. It's like one development over, right past the parkway. And then they're saying now that there's a video of the guy walking on Ernston Road minutes before the gun shoots, the murder or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So with all that being said, why did they tell us that he was running toward the parkway? If he was on Ernston Road, ran toward Ernston Road, one of the two options that he would have done. Wow. Either went toward the parkway or went that way. So now they have all this information that they didn't even, not only did they not say, but they told us other stuff. So I don't know. I mean, if they got the right guy, that's great. I hope they get justice. But the way that that investigation has been done has just been so weird to me.
How did Murphy know about these? Maybe Murphy knew about these videos too. Maybe they all knew. Maybe they were like,
Well, we were battering. We were been hitting this back and forth about there has to be videos of the guy of they have to
yeah.
have that.
Why would Murphy make that statement 2 days after her murder? That this is not politically motivated. Well, did you see the video,
But
Murphy?
it's weird. It's weird too because they also never went after her borough official phone, right? They never went after that. That just got reported about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, about right the borough official phone and the laptop. I'm going to say that was at least 4 weeks ago when they reported on that. Is that the phone that they're using to build this case with the guy's number in it? You know what I mean? Did they finally get to her phone? Is that what happened here? Because the last thing that happened was they didn't even look at the phone.
Right. Or the laptop.
So,
Yeah.
or the laptop. So did they finally get the phone and this is their case is all built off of the phone that they didn't even know existed? Is that what's going on? I certainly hope not.
Did they try to divert the investigation so that he wouldn't think that we were onto him? You
Him
know?
saying that it had no political involvement was they were gonna make sure that there was never gonna have political involvement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but maybe I am a little bit. I don't know. But though there's a lot of things that don't add up with all that. The things we were told, and now we're told different stuff. And but yeah, there's unanswered questions for sure.
I was also talking about True Leave in Massachusetts. They closed down. They're closing down. They're shutting down. They're getting rid of all the workers. And they're leaving Massachusetts after the that Lorna died from inhaling keef. Remember that story?
Yes.
So the federal government was coming in there to do some testing on their facility, and they were going to start testing like very soon. So now that they're closing down, the government's not going to be able to test their facility to see what they can do to help workers be safer. They're missing out on that part of it. Some people are happy they're closing, but the timing of it, which makes sense for the lawyers, because the lawyers of True Leaf probably said, listen, cut and run, because it's only if the government comes in there and finds all this stuff that's bad, then it's going to even be more compounded. So now they don't have to do that. Now they can cut and run and leave, and without being federally investigated now for their procedures and processes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my
Very
friend Tara, she always posts about that company. She hates that company.
Nobody likes that company. People don't go there. If you have a choice to go somewhere else, you go somewhere else. That's what they say. If you want wholesale cannabis, there's a lot of shitty wholesale cannabis. If you
Oh my
want to
God,
buy,
is there? Is there?
so go up there and go get. And it's bad. I mean, some of that weed that's wholesale, cheap.
Bad.
I wouldn't smoke that. I don't care I know the price is. The price
No,
would be amazing, but
no, it is bad. It's like low end compared to whatever else you can get.
I liked
By now.
brickweed. Brickweed was better than that
Mhm.
back when I grew up.
I agree.
With the stems and the seeds.
Mm-hmm. Brickweed.
Oh yeah.
You get a couple buds that were just all seeds, just male buds that were just the whole thing were seeds. By the time you took every one out, you almost had nothing.
Sometimes I'd eat them.
That makes sense. You had to do something with it, otherwise it winds up being just trash.
and you get out your album cover, your double album, or triple if you had a triple album cover. Those are fun.
I used Boz Scaggs.
Bob Skaggs.
Boz Scaggs. That was
Which
that was the record I grew up breaking weed up on.
mine was Electric Ladyland. Well, there was a few. I used Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Electric. I would just grab one. I would just grab an album cover, a random one usually, especially a double. Butthole Surfers had a couple of them. I had a couple of good doubles that I would use, and I lost a lot of drugs in those records because I would lose it and I'd find it later. I'd be like, "Oh, look, a joint." Like I go to play the record like months later, I'll find it like weed enough for a joint. Like, oh wow.
Right. Pull the album sleeve out, and all of a sudden there's like a hit of acid in there. Like, oh shit.
Well, that's even better.
I was looking for that.
I'm still waiting for that to happen, actually.
Yeah, you find like a hit of acid from like 1998.
My records, that's where they're at. I never went through my records. I went through all my books. I lost a couple of hits of acid over the years. And
The record.
yeah, it might be in the records. Might be in the records, man.
Probably.
I'm missing a shroom too. I think that's in my movies.
You go to look for the acid in the records, you open up the sleeve, it's like, I didn't find the acid, but the mushroom's crushed up in here.
Mushroom.
I found the mushroom though. I did.
Score.
Why would I put that in the record though? Whatever.
How old is it? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I one time ate an eighth of mushrooms. I don't know, maybe it was a little less than an eighth. But it was all powdery. It was all dust, and it was old. And it was when I was younger, and I was probably like 18, 19 years old, and I was in art school for a year, and I was in the city, and I had it, and I just was waiting to do something with it, and I wound up taking it and going to People's Court.
Oh,
When Judge Marilyn Million or whatever was the judge.
Yes.
Yeah, because the tickets were free. You just had to call up or whatever, and they would film like they she would fly from Florida to do episodes, so they would film like 5 episodes all within like a 3-hour span, and you had to sit through it. I mean, you go to the bathroom in between cases or whatever, but like you would be watching many, many, many cases or whatever.
You literally the whole week's worth of cases in one day.
It was like 3 days that she would fly there, and then she would do that for like 2 weeks and like film a whole season. You know what I mean? Because
wow.
just pumping them out. And because there was people also who were fixed audience members who would wear different shit and sit in different spot.
No.
Yeah, and as I watched People's Court after I went there and I seen how it all worked out, because I was a fan. That's why I was there. I wouldn't have gone unless I was a fan. So I was watching every day. So then I noticed that they were, after the way that I watched how they did it, I would see people like, oh, that's the one guy. And now the next case, he's two rows in the front over to the side wearing something totally different. There is actual, people who go and get the tickets, but they have fixed audience as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And to be honest, I couldn't stay through the whole thing because I thought it was a good idea, and it was a good idea, but it was also a good idea to get the hell out of there and not stay through the whole thing. So I said I had to go to the bathroom after watching like 6 or 7 cases. The mushrooms kicked in. I'm like, what am I doing in here? I'm in New York City. This is not where I'm supposed to be. It's time to get the hell out of here. So I told the security guard, I was like, I got to the bathroom. He's like, yeah, all right, hurry up back. And I just left.
Well, you're allowed to leave.
Yeah, of course.
You're not a captive.
Yeah, I mean, I was tripping on mushrooms, so I felt like I wasn't allowed to, or I was in prison. And I knew I had to just get the hell out of there. I didn't want to get caught, like.
You feel like you're in the court system.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I gotta go.
Wait a minute, no, this is like being in court. Fuck this.
Yeah. And then I opened up when I got down to the first floor or whatever, I opened up the doors and I got the fresh air on me, New York City, skyscrapers or whatever. I was like, oh my God, what was I doing in there?
That's better. This is much better.
Yeah, this is much better. I can do anything. What was I doing? Really confined to one thing.
Well, you did your thing, and then you got out. It was time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you smell all the garbage and the pee. That's
Hmm.
great.
And then like duck and like chicken and pizza right after that.
Oh, I know they smoke it. There's good food. When I went to the NASCAR race, I don't know if I told you this. Somebody took a dump in the elevator.
You did tell me. Yeah.
So we're all looking at each other, riding this long ass elevator up to the top, and I'm like, I'm ready to throw up because it was bad. It was really, it's like
Yeah.
diarrhea somewhere. Somewhere there was diarrhea that they cleaned up but didn't clean it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that it was accidental though, correct? Like,
I don't
or
know. I don't
I mean,
know.
I hear you, you weren't there, but just
And it's,
what are your thoughts behind that? I'm thinking it's gotta be accidental.
no, no,
What?
absolutely not.
Okay.
It was during the affinity race, I'm sure. So some drunk person probably thought it was funny to take a shit in the elevator.
I guess you're
People,
right.
people are dumb, but especially when
Well,
they're drunk
yeah.
at
Not
a
trying
NASCAR
to.
race.
No,
Anything
that's what
goes.
I mean. Yeah, I didn't want to sound like insensitive to NASCAR, but like,
That's something a NASCAR fan would do. I think
I think
a drunk hooligan
uh,
NASCAR fan. Yeah, they have those. It's a thing.
I share
Sorry,
that same
NASCAR fans.
sentiment.
I love NASCAR, and most of them are good, but there's always that 5%, 10% of you
Yeah,
that
if you're a NASCAR fan and you don't like what we're saying, just think about it. You have that one dude in the group who would take the shit in the elevator, and you know it.
you all know that one
You're like,
guy.
oh fuck, damn Ricky, man. Like, damn, they're right. Ricky would do that shit. Ricky would do that shit.
So after a while, after we leave, and I see another woman in a wheelchair. I had my wheelchair, and I saw a woman in a wheelchair. I said, "Your wheels are contaminated now. You know that, right?" She's like, "Yeah, I know." We were just like gross. We were both grossed out, except she had
Damn.
to touch her wheel. No, she was being pushed, but if she had to touch her wheels,
Yeah.
no. So then I saw people on the bench, kind of just watching everybody come out of the elevator and seeing how grossed out they were. And I thought it was kind of funny because then I started doing it. I'm like, "Oh, let's let's watch all the people come out and see what they say." And people were just coming out like, "Oh god," they were gagging. People were gagging, bro. I should
She
bring a video of it. It was just too
should
funny.
have.
Too
Damn.
funny. Yeah, people were just gathering to watch each other gag. All the previous gaggers, like me, I was gagging.
They
We,
were really?
I wanted to
They
see
all
other people. Dude, it was awful.
jeez.
Yo,
I love like those kind of like social things that just kind of well, I shouldn't say I love that. I don't love that. That's horrible. But like it's reminded me of when we went to this. It reminds me of we went to the Springsteen concert, remember? And some dude threw a cigarette in the mulch, in the big pot of mulch, and it was smothering, and it was about to start a
yo,
fire, and it it
funny.
reminds me of that, that no
We're,
one did nothing until that
no,
one guy. He was like, "Well, I'm not a do nothing kind of guy."
he actually asked us first if we were doing anything with this, right? He said, "Are you guys doing anything with this?" We're like, "No, I'm blocking the lane here, like in my wheelchair, so all you ableists have to walk around me." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Put it out.
Right?
That was great
Yeah.
because he was polite. He was a get go. He would be the guy that put you in a chokehold in the subway. That's the guy.
No,
Like,
you're right. You're
yeah.
right. He was the only person who said, "Are you guys have anything to do with this?"
No, no, we're just
No.
watching it burn like Rome.
Well, yeah. We're about to watch
Watching
it
it
just
burn. I like the
light up
rest
the
of
fire.
us. I'm filming it.
Do
What
you
do you
want
think
to watch
I'm
with
doing?
us?
So he pointed out, like, okay, fair enough, because it was getting bigger. It was smoldering. It was getting bigger.
It was growing. It was growing.
It was just gonna go up, man.
Yeah. The smoke was, I mean, it was slight at first, but then it started to just about like plummet.
Yeah, yeah. It was getting to the point where there was enough oxygen getting underneath of it that there was going to be flames soon.
Yeah, and for anyone who's listening, who's thinking that we should have put it out, we didn't have any
No,
water,
no,
and why is that on us?
no, no,
No one else did a damn thing. We just watched it play out.
no. I was busy with the wheelchair, being aggressively driving with my wheelchair, getting people to run out of my way. Really, I was going fast. Move out of my way, and they were moving out of my way. And then blocking that little area was the best because nobody could get through.
Mhm.
You could get through if you were squeezing through and were like a real jerk and wanted to like. But
You'd have to be a jerk to do the squeeze though.
no, you could easily have just walked around and do the normal squeeze with normal people at the barricade. Was there a barricade? No, there was no barricade. There was just a planter, like two planters, right?
Yeah, it was like the sidewalk. It was like the sidewalk and then the planter, and you were kind of like in between that. There was a bus up against that sidewalk,
Yeah, yeah. It
something
was
like that.
the best spot ever. I want to go back and just do that.
Yep. I was watching, I was like tallying in my head how many people were like noticing you and then like, oh shit, I gotta move, I gotta walk around him. And then how many people of those people noticed the fire right after that? You know, it was a good number.
Yeah, a lot going on here. They probably thought we were involved, but we weren't.
Definitely. Ooh, the mulch is on fire.
Yeah, and he didn't play that song either.
No, that's the thing. When you like that was such a good concert. He was just as many songs he played. He didn't play as many as other ones that are hits. That's what it's like going to see Billy Joel. It's like
He's got too many songs, Billy.
so many, all good ones.
He has so many songs. He fell down. You see him fall?
I didn't.
He fell in Amsterdam. He was probably going to Amsterdam. Probably got a little too drunk. He drinks on stage.
Oh yeah.
He drinks on stage. He does. I've seen him do shots.
Yep.
With the audience.
Yep. Dude, I saw him December 31st, 1999, the Millennium concert. It was the goddamn Millennium. That's what I did for New Year's Eve in 1999. One of the best concerts ever. And he was fucking drinking. He was wasted. And he was doing crazy shit, like taking the microphone stand and throwing it up like 30 feet in the air, catching it. You know.
He's having the time of his life because, he's Bruce and he's just doing whatever he's in Amsterdam. Imagine what else he's doing. Imagine. Probably smoking weed. Does Bruce Springsteen smoke weed?
Probably. I know he likes to drink though. He got busted for drinking on Sandy Hook, remember?
Oh yeah, because he was drinking on his motorcycle, right? And then he took off.
Yeah, he had a couple shooters and he pounded them down and then revved his bike up.
I can't hate on him. That's his thing. That's his thing. If he crashes his bike, he'll pay for it.
He's New Jersey, so New Jersey has to relax.
Relax, New Jersey. New Jersey, take it easy.
Yeah, they've already like cashed in hard off of him.
Yeah, and I like Bruce. If we have to choose between Bruce and Bon Jovi, I got to go with Bruce.
Oh, have to.
Got to go with Bruce.
Bon Jovi's
from Sayreville.
Bon Jovi sucks, and he's from Sayreville. Yeah,
he's from Sayreville. So there's that. Sayreville's a racist town.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing, man. Watching the way the president of the PBA sending that email to the mayor asking her to remove Eunice or whatever, seeing all this stuff that then they tried to cover up was like they were trying to cover up all the stuff that's going on, and now everyone's finding out about it. If it has nothing to do with political involvement, one thing it's done is it's opened up everybody's eyes to the whole like political scope in Sayreville and what's taking place and the corruption and all that shit. Wild.
A political shit show.
I would have never known otherwise.
I'm glad to be a part of it too. I'm glad to add to it. I want him to have a black cloud over his awful short political career.
Part of it, we found ourselves right in the middle of it. Right in the dang middle of it for a minute.
Think about it. What would make Jeff, our friend Jeff, leave the sanctity of his home where he was in peace and not too much pain, to come out in pain and to come up there and give Zabrowski some shit. What does that tell you about a man? He had no money to gain from that, from giving Zabrowski shit. No, nothing to gain. It's a
Right.
man dying from cancer. That was one of his last missions of this world. So if it was important to Jeff, it's important to me. So he's a loose end for me, and I'm gonna make sure there's a cloud over that fucking guy's head. Fuck that guy.
I agree. No, I hear you, man.
I like that. I like Jeff's mission because he had nothing to gain from that. He felt that's what he had to do. And these guys were wine, dined, and pocket lined by Kevin Sabet, Ramp, and Sam. How much money did they get paid by those organizations to stigmatize our medicine, stigmatize cancer patients, you want to sit on that side, and maybe I can get you on this camera. That'd be kind of cool if I get you on this camera. Hi, Adam. Let me see.
Yeah. No, he's a piece of trash.
I don't have to be on camera.
Never mind. Let's put on this one. I have a quick way to do it. You go this here.
Testes, 1, 2, 3.
What's up, Adam?
Oh,
Boom, what?
can you hear? Oh, he said what's up. You can't hear. I can't do the.
Yep.
We get echo otherwise. But
Am I on?
like he says, hello. I hope that's not too loud.
Hello.
There. Can you hear it?
What's
Your
up?
sexy voice. You go up and low on that thing like this. Hello, baby.
Barry White.
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's make a love.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the Sayreville doings with Eunice. They caught the guy that they think did it.
They caught the accused.
The accused.
The alleged.
So we'll see.
Maybe it's a fall guy. Maybe it was political. Not to stir the pot, but who fucking knows, man? The world
Well,
is crazy.
I think if it's as big as we were all thinking, or some of us were thinking, it would be as big as they would figure this out. How to shut them. Watch the guy get killed in jail.
Nice.
Oh.
You need to get arrested and then go there to protect them.
Oh. Now if that happens,
He gets killed in jail. We'll never talk about it again. Will be it.
That's true.
Interesting.
You want to smoke this joint, Lefty?
Yeah. So if I was the CIA and I wanted to set somebody up, I would look for the weak link in the chain. I'd watch them, watch their habits. I would see like, oh, she has some kind of relationship with this guy. Oh, look, he's going to be in town. Look, he's in town here. Let's do it now. He's in town. And I watch a lot of movies too, so you never know where my brain's going to go sometimes. But
That's why I want to know what phone it was. Was it her borough official phone or a personal phone? It really matters.
I need to know these things. I want to know everything. What is he saying? What is the accused saying? Is he admitting to it, or is he saying, "No, I was set up. I was a patsy"? Is that what he's saying? Is he saying he's a patsy?
Patsy, he's too young to know what that word means, probably.
What if he's like saying the cops did it? The cops did it. I'm the fall guy.
Right. What if he
I
says
tend
that?
to believe that kind of stuff. So
That's the way he words it.
Right.
know,
What if he
come on.
starts with that? Then I'm like, oh, now
Yeah.
what?
Now, how do we do it? Yeah. What do we do now?
But you have to drink it now.
Yummy. Okay, it's cold now.
I kept it cold in an ice pack in a car on the way over here so that it was cold for you.
Okay.
It's a gift.
Can you open up that so the
You actually don't have to. You do whatever you want.
But you know what?
open up that so the fan is
The thing is this though. Like, so if let's say they're saying that's the guy who did it. All right.
That's it. Just
Well,
yeah, right there. That's it.
who sent the mayor to the email? Who sent the email to the mayor? The all the swastikas and the calling her an N lover, all that stuff, scaring her to the point where she doesn't want to run for reelection.
Is she going to run for re-election now? Is she
Yeah, I want
safe now.
to find out about that too.
Wow.
See what happened.
Yeah. We gotta turn it out.
Yeah. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. That's good. Now we can smoke. I need to get goggles.
I'm gonna roll a hash joint.
Oh my.
That's okay with you, right?
Yes, I need goggles.
By the way, you need hash goggles.
I need hash goggles. That's
here,
what.
Here, I got hash goggles for you.
Do you?
Yep. Yep.
I really do
Yeah,
need something for my eyes when I go to sessions. Sessions get too crazy for me.
Yeah, but Lefty, what
Make sure you
what
you're opening
that it wasn't always like that though, right? With your eyes like hurting like that, or like all messed up or whatever.
Yeah,
Old.
I went to the eye doctor today, and they said I'm getting old. Oh,
Just don't spill it.
Yeah, getting old sucks, man. I hear you. I'm with you on that.
oh.
King Kush.
I thought there was literally a thing called hash goggles.
I mean, you could be first to market.
Something that you can wear to a sesh, where you won't get, your eyes,
Yeah, but like not glasses, but goggles.
goggles.
Does that sound comfortable?
No.
Well, then we can do some R&D and we get over that hump.
Well, swimming goggles. They're not comfortable.
Nah,
They're not
no.
comfortable.
No, you would.
They're
Burning myself.
They've
No, you need something like sunglasses that, like those old driving goggles, like that aren't, but that don't strap to your head, but that sit on your ear, and you can adjust them so that they're tight enough around your eyes. Because if you have something strapped around your head, I don't want something strapped around my head.
It's gonna hurt your ears though after a while.
No, it's not pulling on your ears. It's just like sunglasses, except that there's a gasket that fits your face.
Well, Lefty, it could be cool if you had those the swimming goggles, those little tiny ones. It could be cool if you figure out a way to have eyeballs on the outsides, trip people out, but you can still see outside of it.
Is that any good?
Oh yeah.
Someone gave me that, and then I'm giving it to you because I don't drink soda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad. What's the name of this company?
I don't fucking know.
Is it something we should promote or
No,
Okay.
no. It's just something I got from somewhere, and I can't drink it.
It's
But
good.
you can drink. Yeah, I figured you could drink it.
It's not sweet.
That's good.
I like that it's not sweet.
Is it carbonated?
No.
No, it's flat. That's funny.
Is it supposed to be carbonated?
Yeah, that's soda.
It tastes like soda.
Flat soda.
Not flat soda.
But that's what I mean. Is it carbonated or not?
It's not
I
carbonated.
mean, it's very lightly still. It's still very lightly carbonated.
lightly carbonated.
Okay.
All right, a little bit. Not like
All right.
yeah. All right. If you,
I mean, you do whatever you want. It's your words, your face.
lightly carbonated, like hand carbonated.
Gotcha. hand carbonated by hand. Yeah, they lovingly
Craft.
cradled those CO2 molecules and just place them gingerly in their new forever home.
I want craft carbonation.
That's craft. Well, no, they have craft soda, but you got to go one step, crafter.
Craftier.
Craftier.
That's great. She's crafty. All right. Well, bless you. I like this soda. Yeah, it's a soda. It's definitely a soda, but it's like an orange.
What flavor is it? It's orange.
Orangey, right?
Yeah. So someone, I don't know what happened. Sooner or later, so at some point, like in the last 6 months or so, someone gave me a medicated soda, and I didn't drink it because I don't drink soda. And then I just saw it tonight. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna bring this for Lefty. Maybe he wants it. And then I took things, the things you need to do to make it cold. And here it's cold, and here you are drinking it, and it's okay. That's like a successful story. It couldn't have happened any better.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it gets you high.
I want to know how many milligrams is that?
It said 105, 100 for the thing. Well, read it. Doesn't it say 100? Look at the
I
front.
can't drink the whole thing.
Sure you can. I guess I'm not going to offer you any RSO then.
Not tonight.
Okay. Well, then drink the rest of that.
Okay.
No, seriously.
I will.
I'm curious.
I will.
Look at it. What does it say? Does it say 25 or does it say 100? That's why it said 100 on the front.
1,000.
No, it's not 1,000.
Yeah, it says 1,000.
That says 1,000?
Yes.
No way. Let me see that
I
thing.
feel like I'm tripping.
Let me see. No way.
It's 100.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Because if that was 1,000 milligram soda, you better be promoting that company. Shit, imagine 1,000 milligram 12-ounce soda. That's
Yeehaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
A roller coaster, bro.
that's wild. So yeah, no, 100 is respectable. It's just you'll see how it is. Either it's made from what, like distillate or shatter or rosin, probably distillate.
Cool. So we're gonna smoke a hash joint.
Yes, we definitely
All right,
are.
I'm excited
I
now.
also have 3 different weeds, so you get to tell me which weed we smoke. These are all new. I'm testing them out tonight.
They're all new.
They're all new.
Oh, just throws them over there.
I did. I threw them. I almost took out the vehicles and the power lines.
Took out
I regret
Bongholio.
that. I'm sorry.
Took up polio.
Oh man, shit. Well, I mean, but the weed can't take out Bongholio. What are you talking about?
We hit Bongholio.
And he's fine. What do you mean? That's like
Oh God, what is this?
what does it say on the?
Oh jeez, what is this?
Are there letters?
Oh come on,
Nothing. That one might be the one with nothing.
nothing.
Okay, that's the Polar Solar.
Polish.
Polar Solar. I
Pol-
don't know. It's supposed to be a sour diesel cross. I couldn't find it on the internet, but it's stronger than that.
Yo,
All right, what are the other ones you got there?
this is amazing. That smells.
We're gonna, I'm gonna.
That smells ridiculous.
Well, you choose which one we roll with hash, basically.
What a choice.
Could be worse, man.
What a dilemma.
I'm like a cross between a biblical cannabis shaman and like your best friend.
Oh, this.
No, I like sharing. I really do, especially when
Oh, I
this
appreciate
context.
this.
So which one's that? What's it say?
Doesn't say
Other letters.
anything.
Give me.
That smells pretty
It
amazing.
says something, but it's only something I can say. Okay, so it says P.
Is that a sativa?
No, none of them probably are. It says PS, which would be well, it wouldn't be the Big Mac because that's BM, and it wouldn't be the Polar Solar. No, that's the Polar Solar. This one was the Polar Solar. This one was I'm sorry. The first one was Rainbow Runts. The second one was Polar Solar, and then the third one was Big Mac.
Okay, Rainbow Runts.
The first one.
Rainbow Runts.
All right, we're gonna smoke that with some hash then. You want to look at it again?
I want to go all around in it.
All right. Rainbow Runs was grown in New York State.
Oh my goodness! Look at this. This smells so good.
The other ones are from Oregon, so you chose wisely.
Really?
No, I mean they're all good. But,
Interesting. This is
but
New
you-
York.
But you
huh?
chose the local weed, yeah. I didn't grow
Local.
it. I don't know the guy that grew it, but I know it's New York.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like I guess I don't know any more than like like they told me it was the guy that grows it in New York. So like like what the fuck would they lie? But anyway, these things I think. It looks like you got what is this? Bro, you have RSO just laying on the street here.
I know.
Okay.
It's a tar. Street tar.
Good. That's good for you.
My tenant has use for that. I'm waiting for her to. Actually, I'm just gonna give it to her.
Most people have use. Well, the problem is that most people who need it can't afford it. So that's why you need a ministry to provide it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who can afford that type of stuff often don't fall back on it because they are so heavily invested in whatever system that made them their money You know, like, so they're just going to go along with, I'm going to try the conventional treatment for my cancer, so like, whatever, so, but the people who can't afford that, then they're like, all right, well, then how can I obtain this, something that'll help me? And then that's why, cannabis oil will help them, except that they can't afford it. So, like I said, you need some kind of nonprofit revenue structure to pay for that to donate to people. It's actually a good reason for home grow argument, but I mean, I don't live in New Jersey, but man, we should. You could. New Jersey's right. New Jersey, it's not illegal to use it for your religious purposes, and there are ways to incrementally push that envelope with legal recognition. You don't have to grow a plant, which is highly illegal, and you might have to. I mean, there's no bail, but you might have to deal with all that. But so you could do the same thing with distribution. You could publicly transfer cannabis to somebody, and you could take a donation. They've already haven't really done this with the gifting for profit thing. They've
Yeah.
It hasn't gone in front of a court. So, but you can do the Armstrong standard protest. You look so high right now. Is that soda working?
Yeah, didn't it go in Hawaii? Didn't they try that in Hawaii?
Try what? Well, the religious use thing
Religious-
the religious use thing in Hawaii happened prior to quote unquote legalization. So
Okay.
the arguments were different. The state had a stronger argument for what they were doing. Now the state doesn't have any. I mean, in any legal in any rec state, there's no. Especially if they allow anyone to grow it at home.
Yeah.
In New York State is actually a special place in terms of this because some of the first conditional use licenses were for nonprofit organizations to basically sell weed and then use all that inflated money, inflated prices, revenue to pay for whatever their nonprofit mission is. One of them, I think, was to help homeless people find jobs. Another one was to like, or previously incarcerated people find jobs. I think that another one was for homeless housing. And they provide housing for homeless people by selling weed and raise the revenue that way. And if that's allowed in New York, I don't need a fucking license to practice my religion. Damn. So like same thing in New Jersey. We're there. We're there. It's just there needs to be some kind of organization or organizational structure to promote this idea and to test the boundaries legally for the sake of the fork gambit. If they let you get away with it after you've notified them you're going to do it, you've basically done an Armstrong standard protest and now it's legal for you. And if they don't let you get away with it, well, then you just fight it and get a statewide or national platform for your narrative about being persecuted for your religion. And you're probably, someone's going to convict you. And if they go all the way to trial and you get acquitted, then boom, you've created new law. So New Jersey's right for this. We just need a congregation who's willing to stand up and be public about it. We don't even have to grow it. We could just have to let them know that we're exchanging it, or in their eyes, exchanging it. But to single out a religious organization, a nonprofit association, raising money with cannabis for their nonprofit religious mission, when other businesses are allowed to do the same thing, and it's just a different standard. It's discrimination. You win that court case. So these are the things I think. So in New York, I'm really close to doing public stuff with the ministry because I'm renting a new place. Like I said, we can have our meetings there.
That's a nice place.
It's a big. There's an acre of yard.
Whew.
It is a very. I would say the neighborhoods are probably 60 to 70% Orthodox Jew or Hasidic, but I think that area might just be Orthodox because of the way that they dress differently. But that whole area has had its religious land use stuff tested, and it always wins in favor of the religious land use. So that's a place that's good to do all this stuff. But trying to have some kind of religious cannabis celebration, gathering, festival, meditation, music extravaganza on that property. If not this year, then definitely next spring.
It's big enough for that.
Well, I mean, the only downside is that it's not completely level. But if I were to, like companies that set up stages and shit, like they can just make the shit level. Like the people where people are going to set their tables up, the level places. Like I'll figure that out. Or I wouldn't even mind, having some level decking built. So a non-permanent structure, so that people could have tables or chairs or whatever it is on a completely flat surface. But like all the money that comes in that I raise, not to make this a fucking pitch for me, but I'm supposed to be rolling a hash joint right now. It's because I'm drinking this coffee all fucking day. All the money that I raise, like literally all the money that I raise, all my revenue goes into a fund that I'm just trying to buy property. Preferably in Rockland County, New York, because that's where all these land use precedents have already been done in order to have the Sacramento Cannabis Ministry property as a community center and meditation school and prayer sanctuary and all that stuff. So yeah. So we're 1/5 towards our goal. I need to make one of those big signs with the thermometer talking about the money that's raised. You know what I mean? Like we're 1/5 to our goal. For real, as a nonprofit association, and it's taken forever. So we have to expand our membership in order to create this thing. What else you got over there, Lefty?
Mikey, we had a fun time at the Hippie Fest,
That's right. I gotta make it down there.
and we won $250 for the nonprofit.
In what way? What do you mean? Like with a raffle?
We got with the raffle.
$250 cash?
Yeah, I put it in the account,
That's great.
so when we have money for a couple of ramps. That was amazing.
Oh yeah. So speaking of all that shit, here I am. I'm gonna give you a donation for our nonprofit. Here's $20.
Oh, right on.
$20 more. Yeah, just like every little bit helps.
Thank you. There you go.
Yep.
Zoe Patchell's gonna call in a few minutes.
Cool.
Talk about Delaware, how they really did a good job in Delaware, like an amazing job. Like they were backed up against the wall last year. Remember when they had a couple of legislators pull out on them at the last minute?
Pulling out early is the worst.
And yeah, so that happened.
Happens a lot in politics.
So they waited till this session, and all of a sudden now this session, they have a lot of support down there from the dispensaries, a lot of support from politicians for home grow, support from the unions. We need more of that here in Jersey.
Jersey is so corrupt, but it's corrupt in its own way. Like a lot of other states see it as their public relations strategy to let people grow at home. Because like it has positives and benefits. I mean, positives and negatives, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't mean for us. Obviously, it's only positive for us. I mean for the companies that the big money. Because if we can't grow, then we have to buy it. But if the people who are growing, it just solidifies their market either way, because the people who are growing don't buy it, and everyone else buys it. So it's not like
In New Jersey, it's expected that everything's going to be corrupt. That's the problem. That's why. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't surprise me that police would think there's police, or people would think there's police involvement with the whole Eunice thing or whatever. There's so much corruption that goes on in New Jersey, and people expect like a certain amount. Otherwise, it's not Jersey.
Well, it's not like you know. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like Sopranos happened in Minnesota. That was Fargo.
Right.
Fargo.
Yeah, remember the
Some
movie
people
Fargo?
just roll right off their shoulders or shrug their shoulders like, hey, forget about it.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, New York's. Look at New York. The culture of New York is full of crime. All these other places are full of crime too, but the way that it is in New York is that way. You know, there's so many of those elements in New York and New Jersey.
What about as far as the cannabis businesses in New York?
What about it?
They're cracking down on the illegal ones.
Supposedly, and only in New York City.
New
I
York
can,
City.
I can tell you up in Rockland County, you know, which is just Rockland County is the seventh borough. You know, it's just Bergen County is the sixth, Rockland County is the seventh, right above it.
Okay.
It's right there. Well, you know, very similar culture to Bergen County, like northern Bergen County.
Okay.
There's every smoke shop sells weed, like every
Real weed.
Yeah. Well, you don't get ahead of the story. So
Okay.
all right, so there's 5 towns in Rockland. One of the towns that I hang out in to drink coffee, there's 1, 2, 3 shops that sell weed. They don't have licenses. One of them is a smoke shop, you know, bong shop. They sell pre-rolls and cartridges and gummies and stuff. They don't advertise it. Then there's the another one of those smoke shops. It's like, you know, CBD hookah, you know, and they sell weed too. I haven't been in there. And then there's another one that doesn't even say anything about weed. It just says, you know, the name of their store. I think the word relief isn't the name of their store, but it doesn't say weed, doesn't say cannabis, doesn't say marijuana, nothing.
That's the one you go to.
Well, so I went there. Well, because you know, they sponsored ads on Instagram, so I'm like, oh, this is that one. So anyway, so I went there.
Low key.
So I went there, and I started just talking with the proprietor because, you know, without getting into my background too much, but like I know what's going on. So I go in there and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? So I looked at all this shit, and they said anyway. So they said that they're doing Delta 8. Everything is Delta 8. I mean, not just that stuff looked like straight, you know, marijuana. Now, I mean, like, I don't know enough about industrial hemp. If you just pump it full of all those crazy chemicals, it looks just like real weed, right? But no one's buying. No one's. Who's buying Delta 8? So I figured the customers either don't know it's Delta 8, because I was talking to them and they're like, oh, we got all the COAs. It's all Delta 8. I mean, like, it looked like crap. It didn't look like it. It said they had pre-rolls. Never know what's in a pre-roll, right? There were cartridges, you know, all right. And then they had, you know, just, jars or plastic jars.
Carts from China, bro.
Well, I mean, everything was white labeled with their brand, but I don't know. The weed didn't look great. Like, there's only 1 or 2 out of like the 20 or 30, you know, jars that they had that looked like maybe I would smoke it. Everything else didn't look fresh. But they said it was Delta 8. I mean, never mind the fact that Delta 8's illegal in New York. But I didn't have the heart to tell them that. I started asking them about what they thought they were going to do. Like, are you guys going to get a license? And they're like, but we're Delta 8. We're hemp. It's okay. It's separate. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But, you know, like, I'm not here to ask you about that specifically. I'm just saying, what is your business plan? Like, don't divulge your secrets. But, like, what do you think? And he's just like, yeah, if they want to give us a license, we'll take it. And it's just like, don't you think there's going to be any enforcement in the future for like, you know, illegal shops, you know, shops without licenses? And he just kept saying, well, we're hemp, bro, we're hemp. I didn't want to be like, look, you know,
Tell the judge.
I want to be like, look, Delta 8 is illegal. Like,
You're brick and mortar, bro. Then they know where you're at.
so it's just really strange. But there's also 2 social equity license winners in Rockland too that don't have locations. And you saw what they're doing in New York. First, they were letting the social equity license holders have pop-ups, just straight up like trap parties, and now they passed a law that they're going to let them have farmers markets.
Ooh.
So it's basically like, so they gave people these licenses, but there's no properties available. They're supposed to be funding grants, loans through the OCM. None of that's materialized. So they've given out licenses and then done nothing else. So all these companies are complaining and suing, not suing, but like this, the company that's suing is a different story. they're complaining, and New York's like, all right, well, you can just post up in a parking lot or post up in a, I don't know what the actual rules are, like probably not a parking lot, but I think that you can,
Maybe.
I think that you're allowed to. I think that multiple cannabis license holders can sell from the same place as long as it's run or owned by someone else with a license. So, like, basically, if you have a weed license and a shop, now you can rent that space to other cannabis vendors to sell out of, and you can all just have a farmer's market. And then, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't read all the details of it. I mean, they made a bunch of changes to New York. But New York's program is fucked. It's so backwards. They did everything wrong and they lied about everything too. So like they had an MSO sue, and now they settled with the MSO because the law said they can't no MSOs for for X amount of time. We want our New York people to make money first. And the MSO some MSO can't remember the name of it is. They sued, and the New York State settled and gave them a license. The license class that isn't available yet, like the MSO license, like the large scale license, because so it was the three different classes of license, the commercial class, right, the large class, then there's the social equity, and then the micro license. The micro license was going to be last, the social equity was going to be first. So anyway, so they're granting a license type that hasn't even been written. They haven't even given that one out yet, and they're giving it to these people as a, or they're basically saying you're now first in line when we give these out. So it's like New York is just like playing ad hoc with their rules. Like someone complains, they change stuff. Someone complains, they change stuff. They just changed. They just added delivery rules so that these companies with no location can basically start delivering, or something like that. Of course, they prohibited it to be delivered to place of worship. So I got a public comment about that. That's not fair at all.
That's what that's all executive session stuff.
Well, New York it's taken forever because every time they make proposed changes, then they give a 45-day comment window, and then they actually modify what they're doing depending on whether or not the comments make sense. And then there's another 45-day window for the new proposed changes. So it takes forever for anything to happen. Forever. It's just plus New York's one more rant and then I'm done, right? One more. The New York, I don't know if it was the head of the New York OCM or just one of the members, gave an interview, and I think it was a radio interview. And I don't know the source. I heard the radio interview on one of the cannabis news pages on Instagram, whether it was New York State Cannabis Times or Blacklist XYZ or one of these things that maybe they're reposting from another one of these sites. And it was I listened to it multiple times. I remember I was where I was sitting when I watched it. And he basically said, like, he must have been responding to a question that was like, what are you going to do with the MSOs? Are you going to keep them out, or what are you going to do? And you don't get that part, but what you hear is his answer. And he says, what do you think we're going to, I'm paraphrasing. He says, what do you think? He's like, what do you think we're going to prevent these companies from coming into our market? You mean the companies that are successful in this industry in other states where they already have the infrastructure, the know-how, the experts, yada, yada, yada. Why would we keep them out? They're the ones who are going to make this industry work. What social equity is for is that you get a window to establish your brand and get some market share before the MSOs come in. What he said was 5 to 10 years. Of course, we know that's nonsense because they're coming in next year. They've already changed it. So like everyone's gonna hit the ground at the same time instead of there being this staggered rollout. It looks like. But anyway, he said the whole point is that that's what social equity is. You get time to create a brand, and then when the MSOs come in, you're either going to go out of business or they're going to buy you and buy you out because your brand has market share. And he didn't say it, but he implied that's your social equity. Walk away with your check for $200 million, like Etain did, right? Huge company bought Etain, wasn't it? Women, it's can't knock them for being, a women-owned company, but I'm pretty sure that they sold their company, that a larger company bought them.
Yo, guys, I'm gonna get going. I gotta make dinner.
Yeah, man. My bad for just talking nonstop, but
No, you're all good.
info dump.
I've been enjoying listening,
Make that food.
but I'm gonna make dinner so you guys get enjoy the rest of your night.
What are you making?
Roll this hash joint.
I got chicken from the other night. I have chicken and pork because I made it on the grill outside, and but I don't have enough charcoal right now, so I'm just gonna make it in the oven.
Nice.
Oven is great.
Oh yeah.
Pork, you said? Putting it into a cold
All
oven?
right, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good night.
All right, good night.
Hi, Mikey. Good night.
All right, peace.
All right, I'm going to roll 2 joints. One we're going to smoke, and then one I'm smoking on my drive back.
Sounds good, brother.
Yep, got to go back up 95. It's like a rap song.
I had to rent a truck because my Jeep was making noise, and I was worried because I have to go to Seaside or Point Pleasant tomorrow. I'm not sure which one of the beaches, and I wanted to bring my wheelchair so I can extend my day. And I, luckily, my Jeep's ready.
How many miles are on your Jeep?
95,000.
Ooh, you're getting there. Well, it's the American car. All right, so I don't, ask a mechanic. I don't know if things have changed, but like, when your American car gets to around 100,000 miles, that's when shit starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
That's my experience with all the American cars that I've had. I had a Lincoln. As soon as it turned, I sold it at 97,000 miles, and as soon as I sold it, the guy, like the window stopped working, the transmission had a problem, like all the little. I had a Cavalier, Chevy Cavalier, or I was like the third driver of that, and every little thing went wrong with that, like all the door handles. What?
Who's joining us?
I mean, by Japanese or European.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Zoe. How are you?
Hey, Zoe.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me back. This is awesome. I love your weed town.
Yeah, it's our little miniature town. We pass joints to each other with the cars. It's pretty cool.
It does have like a little traffic jam of comically large weed nuggets.
Actually, yeah, we have there's weed in the street here.
That's how we like it. Weed in the street.
Can you see it? Here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me.
Yeah, I can see it.
So
Definitely.
that means it's street prices, right?
It's street weed. Oh, that's funny. Street weed. Can you see the street weed?
There you go. Street weed.
Street weed. Yeah, we're just having fun here.
Nice. I know. I wish I was there. That's exciting.
This is cool. So what's exciting is what's going on in Delaware. Like last year, it wasn't all fun and games like this. Like you weren't celebrating last year. Last year, I remember you guys were backed up against the wall because you had a couple of legislators that either pulled out at the last second or you couldn't get them on board. And man, I tell you, what happened between then and now that got you to the point where, yes, we got it in Delaware. What happened?
Wow. I know. Last year, this time, we were gearing up for the historic override vote, which actually there hadn't been an override in Delaware since 1970. So the House did take that override vote for the first time in, 52 years. And, with the historic pressure and everything like that, they caved, some of the lawmakers, some of our co-sponsors caved to political pressure, especially from the governor and a small handful of actually bipartisan, so it was Democrats and Republicans that were working with the governor to defeat legalization last year. So a lot had happened between last year and this year. Mainly, the election was a big turning point for our success here in the state of Delaware, because one of the co-sponsors who changed his vote on the override got voted out in a primary and replaced with an adamant supporter, Representative Shana Neal, And, she became a co-sponsor of the bill and, helped, get us to victory this year. So that was a big part of it. There was other, election success in terms of that. A lot of public pressure. That was really, to quote Vanessa Maria from Philly Normal, direct action gets the goods. So like holding them accountable, putting it out on Facebook, on social media, on our listserv, and just letting everybody know these were the traitors to legalization here in the state of Delaware. By the way, it's an election year. Oh, remember in November. And, people really took that to heart, and it showed up in the polls, and it was a big part of the success.
So, what are you allowed to do in Delaware now? As far as do you have home grow in Delaware?
No,
Not yet.
unfortunately, we don't, like Jersey and New York and some of the other states that have taken on that awful trend. We're still gonna have to fight for home cultivation, and it's not happening this year. Our session ends June 30th. And I mean, if we get anything done in the next 4 weeks of session, it's going to be medical amendments, things to improve the medical program. And what we're hearing right now is the general consensus is that they want to pursue, the lawmakers want to pursue medical home cultivation before they would pursue adult use home cultivation. So, I mean, obviously we're, pushing for adult use and medical home cultivation. But we'll take whatever we can get, especially if we can get cultivation rights for our patients that desperately need it here in the state of Delaware, because they're paying some of the highest prices in the entire country for medical cannabis because of our oligopoly and the cartel here in the state of Delaware. So we'll take what we can get. There's a lot more work to do. That's the short answer.
Is it still a felony to grow weed in Delaware?
So it really, honestly, it depends on how it's charged. And it could be charged as a misdemeanor. It could be charged as a felony. Medical cannabis patients right now, there's like kind of like a somewhat loophole to a degree, where if it's certainly a personal use amount, it's not quite an affirmative defense. But if you have a good enough attorney, especially if you contact us and allow us to recommend you to an attorney that deals with this regularly, then we've seen a lot of those cases dropped for medical cannabis patients, mainly because of a loophole in the law. So medical cannabis medical cannabis cultivation was actually included in the very first version of the medical cannabis bill that was introduced in 2009. And through subsequent amendments and a lot of pushback from, mainly the same opponents that we saw through adult use, that language was taken out. It was actually nurse practitioners that really went to bat in 2011 to get that language taken out. They basically threatened to walk their support, like they were going to walk away from supporting the bill and oppose it if it had home cultivation in it. So it got struck in the latest version when that bill passed in 2011. But so what happened when that got struck out last minute in a last minute amendment, there were parts of that legislation that still existed. So patients can have stalks, stems, seeds, roots, like all the other components of a plant. But it just says, there's actually nothing that says they can't cultivate either. It's just still prohibited. It's kind of like this loophole thing. So I really encourage any medical cannabis patient, if you have some kind of police interaction or get charged, certainly contact us. We'll point you in the right direction. Don't take a charge for cultivating your medicine.
That's wild. So you're saying it's kind of like you're not allowed to grow, but you're allowed to have a plant. Some kind of loophole like that.
Yeah, like it was a last minute amendment where they simply struck through that, like under the allowed activity, they just struck through cultivation, but they didn't actually put it on the prohibited list either. And then all the other language in terms of what constitutes a plant in the definition, stalks, seeds, roots, like the whole plant basically, was still kept in with the definition. So it's like this funny loophole.
Do we have that loophole here in Jersey, Adam?
For a plant,
I wonder.
I don't think we do, but it would be worth revisiting these things, because we didn't go through a similar type of thing. Like, well, I'm sure there have been all kinds of homegrown things proposed, but that version didn't become a later law. Where she's talking about a law that started off in one form and then they changed it, but didn't change it enough, sort of, and left this loophole where it's kind of where the law conflicts with itself, and you can make the argument, although she said not an affirmative defense, but you could have your charges dropped as a result of this ambiguity. I don't think that we have something analogous in New Jersey or New York, but New Jersey's, I mean,
sounds similar to New Jersey, a lot of their issues.
we did, well, I don't say we, I mean we in the general sense, like the public, we did plant the Murphy OG. Do we ever know what happened to that?
We planted I didn't plant it.
I didn't plant it.
Somebody planted a pot plant on the State House lawn.
It was amazing. There's pictures.
So maybe we should try that again.
I mean, that's the closest we come in New Jersey to a home grow, I think, so far.
Yeah. So you're having a huge event on the 16th?
Yes, June 16th, 6:30 to 11:30. It's 1,000 Acre Farms in Middletown, Delaware. It's our cannabis legalization victory party. So we really hope that you guys can make it from Jersey, and Philly, and wherever you're listening from. Please come out, support our success. We obviously have more work to do, but we have to celebrate our victories as we get them. And this one was a long time in the making, 10, concentrated years plus, the shoulders that we stood on to get here, so it's a big milestone for us, and we really hope everybody comes out to have a good time with us. And it's a really cool venue too. Oh my gosh. It's a 1,000 Acre Farm. Shout out to Delaware Normal. We're obviously organizing that event together with them, but they chipped up for a very big venue it's on the water in Middletown. So we're really excited about that, and we hope everybody joins us.
What was the date again?
So it's Friday, June 16th, 6:30 to 11:30. And it's free. It's $5 for parking, the venue charges.
That sounds awesome. I won't be around. I can't go with you, Lefty, but I'm gonna be away.
It's going to be fun.
It sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, we're excited.
Sounds pretty normal.
It's pretty normal to me.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing down there. Jersey needs to take a page out of your book, that what you guys are doing, because you're killing it down there. You're really killing it. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I feel the same way about what you guys do. Oh my God, you guys do so much work, all with the 710 event and joining all the states to, unite the patients and fight against, this corporate cartel bullshit we're seeing in the states take over the medical and the adult use markets, and everything you guys are doing legislatively, and just, it's amazing. I think it's awesome. And I think it's awesome that we have such a cool, group of advocates.
Yeah, we're trying to get all the states together because every state has different issues and problems. So your problems are similar to ours with the home grow and insurance coverage. I'm sure you need that too, and similar issues and similar startups where we had home grow in our original law, and it was taken out.
In the actual law that was passed?
And no, they took it out like hours before they passed it.
Well, then in that case, I'm wrong. I'm not a historian of New Jersey law. Maybe there is a similar thing as she was describing, because if they didn't strike all the other things out, then
Right.
that would be. We should explore.
Yeah, we should explore that, because it's always always good to double check things. We found out some things in Saraville by double checking, triple checking. We didn't know that Saraville has a big racial issue with a lot of their police department stuff. And it was found out that we did an Oprah request that a lot of their black and brown arrests for cannabis were actually white people.
Say what?
They were listing them so that the town seemed less racist. So they had all these black and brown people listed as white. And Zabrowski was in charge of all that. And he has all these racism charges against him for different lawsuits and stuff. And now he's sitting in Eunice Drumfor's seat, who was she's the murdered councilwoman. So a lot going on here in Saraville. And Zabrowski, well, he took money from Ramp and Sam. Kevin Sabet. You know Kevin Sabet?
Yeah,
So
I'm very familiar.
he was wined and dined and pocket lined by Kevin Sabet. And he's one of those guys. So we don't like Zabrowski because I've talked to a lot of cops that don't agree with Zabrowski. So he's one of a kind, that guy. He wants to keep putting black and brown people in jail for a plant. Even after we called a truce in the drug war, he still wanted to continue stigmatizing patients, stigmatizing disabled vets. So, yeah, we have problems in New Jersey, but they're like localized like Zabrowski and the same things you have with insurance coverage and home grow. But like we talked to Vermont. Vermont has a 95% tax on their vape carts.
95%.
What?
That doubles the price of the item.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not.
Because they're lumped in with the cigarettes. So that's been taxed up. Yeah. So they got killed with the taxes up there.
It's a sin. It's
95%
a sin tax.
Ew.
And what's the other one? In Kentucky, you're allowed to leave the state and get your weed somewhere else and then drive it back into Kentucky with no problems.
That's a half-assed solution.
That's an executive order by the governor.
Yeah, we won't arrest you, but we're not doing it.
Executive order by the governor.
That's what happened here in Delaware at first. Like the law passed in 2011, but then the governor suspended the program, and that's kind of like our first part of like when we started, organizing here in Delaware was to try to fully implement the medical cannabis program because they started issuing cards. They were taking money from patients, but there were no dispensaries, and they wouldn't allow them at all. Like they were like forbidden in the state of Delaware. So it's like they're taking money from patients, but they wouldn't, allow for safe access. And that was kind of what we were told by the governor's office was tell patients to quote unquote do what they were doing before, get it from the street, go to other states. And we were just like, what? This is incredibly cruel, unjust. I mean, just heartless. And it took a lot of time to get these dispensaries open, which, became, an even more sore spot for us when the dispensaries that we fought for years to open turned around and started fighting against our adult use efforts. So it's been a crazy journey here in the state of Delaware. I just want to mention, because you said it a few times, like that Jersey has similar problems to Delaware. But, the part of that is by design because a lot of the lawmakers that have modeled both the medical and adult use have used Jersey specifically, there's similar lobbying influences, I think that are hitting both states. Like I'm familiar with at least a few groups that have been hitting both states, like AAA, like Sabat, like you were saying, and, like a few others, but yeah, I think that's a lot of the reason why we have the same problems is because our lawmakers are using New Jersey as an example a lot of times.
Have you heard of SAM? Was it Smart Approaches to Marijuana?
Yeah.
They're in Delaware?
Oh yeah, they just dropped probably more money than we've been able to put into legalization. They just dropped in just over the last few months here in Delaware. I mean, so much money, ads, the advertorials, like lobbying. I mean, full out campaign. They hired the lobbyist that used to be the lobbyist for the Delaware Medical Society that was also opposed to cannabis legalization and a lot of the medical cannabis amendments that we've been pushing over the years. So it's funny, like they hired the same lobbyist and yeah, they showed up to all the hearings, and just sunk, a crap ton of money into fighting this last leg. We're actually a little worried because we're being outspent. We've been outspent for years. We were the underdog in this significantly. But they just started dropping so much money. It was a little worrisome at the end, especially with everything that we've been through with the override year before. And we're gearing up for the override again this year.
So these groups like Sam are actively still fighting. There's still pushback, and they're still being funded to push back against you.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, they're, like I said, they hired high-paid registered lobbyists here in the state of Delaware, so local registered lobbyists, that have all the doors open to them, because they've been lobbyists for decades here in the state of Delaware. So, yeah, believe it or not, they're not the most influential, though. Law enforcement, hands down. The law enforcement lobby was definitely 100% the most powerful. And that was kind of like all teamed up with the governor. And like I said, like a small group of bipartisan lawmakers that, and it was based on like the Fourth Amendment thing, like, not being able to use cannabis as probable cause, like based on the odor. And there's been a lot of, media kind of on that since legalization because of police canine and things like that. And we've already seen an impact. This is a huge policing reform, and I don't think that legalization often gets that lens.
In New Jersey, the police can smoke off duty and get cannabis cards. Do you have that issue in Delaware with police?
Well, interestingly, I mean, there's nothing that prevents them, but I mean, I would say that it's probably safer for the community. More people consuming cannabis, the less likely somebody's going to get beat up or shot, probably, in my opinion. But no, I don't think there's anything that specifically prohibits it. Now, I'm not sure because we have, a vast labor protection, the law enforcement bill of rights here in the state of Delaware that gives them a lot of protection, but it also may prevent them from consuming with tests. But I haven't really looked into that, honestly.
Yeah, they got that in New Jersey. There's an issue with the Second Amendment, I'm sure, because I know if you have a cannabis card, they'll take your gun away in New Jersey, right?
There's actually a pending court cases about that. Right, as in Minnesota, the ATF wrote them a letter saying that people can't own guns if they use cannabis. There's some Supreme Court or Circuit Court case, maybe in Pennsylvania or something. I'm not sure about that, and it's being appealed by the government because that court said that it's unconstitutional to bar people from owning weapons if they are cannabis users.
Interesting.
So there's all that stuff is up in the air right now.
So Delaware, interestingly enough, so with the Medical Cannabis Act from 2011, technically medical cannabis patients are allowed to own a firearm, but the whole thing with the federal government, you have to have the firearm first and then get your medical card, and you'll be in compliance with state law, but obviously not federal law. And then if you went to go get another firearm after you had your medical card, then that's when you come into the issue with either lying on the form that you're not a consumer or admitting that you are and then being denied. So technically, like what we have here in Delaware, it's a person prohibited law for firearms. If it's involved with, illegal activity or illegal drugs, things like that. So with a medical cannabis card, you're technically not a person prohibited. But there was a bill that passed last year. It was a bipartisan bill that specifically clarified a medical cannabis patient can't be charged with felony person prohibited if they have a legal firearm and their medicine. And that passed. And then it got vetoed by the governor about a month and a half after he vetoed legalization. And that was actually one of the things that helped secure our our victory for legalization as well, because the bill that he vetoed, one of the Republican prime sponsors on the bill was very pissed that the governor vetoed his Second Amendment bill for medical cannabis. And because our bill had those protections for legal firearm owners and people in possession for adult use. So anybody, as long as you're, in the legal limit, you won't be a person prohibited any longer since cannabis legalization passed here in the state of Delaware. And that Republican member voted for the bill because of that. So that was a big thing. It's interesting though, because we actually had hit up the Delaware version of the NRA, Delaware Riflemen's Association, to support the medical Second Amendment bill and our bill, and they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole because they kept saying federal, the federal prohibition, and we're like, well, the federal government doesn't enforce state law. This would change state law to make, legal firearm owners in compliance with state law and no longer felony, persons prohibited. And they were like, no, we don't support that. And I was like, wow, that's a little hypocritical.
Wow.
But a little more than a little. But
yeah, we got the same answer from the national NRA about that too. They didn't want to touch. That was years ago, though. And so, yeah, police officers get PTSD, and their only choice is either take Percocets or booze or Valiums or other opiates. So cannabis is an option for cops here in New Jersey, off duty for recreational use. You don't have to be a medical card, but I think it's probably better that they do get a card. But that's just me. I don't know.
There's a lawsuit in New Jersey.
There is one in New Jersey.
Yes, a police officer got fired for using cannabis off duty.
What town?
I'm not sure. Google.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
look
pretty
that
sure.
one up.
Because and he sued, and that's going to be sorted out in probably state court and then federal court, because whoever loses is going to appeal, because it would set precedent.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Lots of stuff up in the air.
So I'm looking forward to the 16th. I can't wait to go down there. It's a long ride. It's a couple hours, but I don't mind.
I mean,
It's a nice ride.
Harvest Fest is 3 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, did you see there's the quote unquote official New York Cannabis Fest or something like that? That's just all MSOs and not selling nothing THC for sale.
Oh no.
It's up by Binghamton. I saw it. I saw it promoted a lot in the scene. And it's just like, I'm looking into this. And it's just like, all right, what is this?
MSOs.
Well, MSOs, but like the companies that are the big money get to showcase their products but not sell anything. So it's like a.
What does that mean?
Well, you know how the cannabis conventions are weed-free cannabis events?
Oh God.
It's like that, except more
Help
Harvest Fest-ish. Outside at a campground. There's glamping. Of course, there's craft beer. Because alcohol sells.
Do they sell Delta 8 at least?
But
I'm kidding. I wouldn't smoke that either.
but that's what I mean. Like so,
Oh.
crazy. Lots of fakers out there.
Oh.
Lots of fakers.
That hurts.
Yeah, I'm
Hurts
disappointed.
my heart.
And now, like, I find it irritating as somebody who's, smoked weed since I was like 14 years old. As mainstream as it goes, like, obviously we want it legal, but man, as things go mainstream, I'm getting super irritated with just, like the MSOs, like the takeover of the market, like what they're trying to make this industry, and then like a bunch of people that just have no clue, like what this plant's about, what the community is about, like, the needs of consumers and patients. It kind of makes me sick, like the industry, like, I don't want to say like I'm anti-industry, I'm not. I'm just saying like I'm really disgusted of how things are playing out, being a longtime advocate and almost a lifetime consumer,
agreed.
Yeah, the True Leaf story really scares me
Smoke
because
this.
True Leaf is closing their doors, and all those workers are losing their jobs, and the timing of it, because the government was just about to come in and do a investigation on why this girl died and why there's so much keef smoke in the air, and now that's not going to happen. There's going to be no study that's going to be done now because of that. The timing. Their lawyers told them to cut and run. They said, "Cut and run, get out of there."
How come they can't still investigate though? Like that doesn't seem
You have
right.
to-
Like where's the accountability?
Yeah, you have to recreate that system and the processes, and I don't know if they can. I don't know. They should do it at other places though, because the girl died. I mean, what? I don't know. I never heard of that before, but she suffocated.
Yeah, imagine what the conditions are at that place where there's so much keef in the air and they're not taking the precautions that you could fucking die.
Mm.
Imagine how much keef they're wasting.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's not the worst part of it, of course, but like, just imagine what the standards and practices are of a company where this can occur. You know,
Right.
like you know what a weed grow entails. Like how even a hash making room, like we know what that entails. How are you gonna suffocate to death on that? Like maybe. Well, I don't want to speculate, but at the very least, it's negligent.
Yeah, yeah. We have bad actors here in New Jersey. We have a couple of really bad ones, because the MSOs took over first in New Jersey. In Maine, the small guys took over first. The mom and pops and the caregivers started off, right?
Yes, I think that the tide is turning. They're changing things up there. But no, the medical companies, those are like cottage industries. Like I went up to Maine in 2016 to try to be a caregiver, and if not for being betrayed and ripped off by my partner at the time, I would have a nonprofit organization up there doing just that. But no, the laws were amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. There was a lot of liability protection for, I don't want to say loose practices, but I mean, as long as you paid your taxes, you'd be fine.
I know a lot of patients that moved up to Maine so they can grow weed.
The medical law was basically written by the black market, because the black market was the only voice that came to the table. Well, I don't say the only voice, but that's not fair. But there was a lot of that, and it was written such that you could basically have a grow and sell to as many people as you wanted, and as long as you paid some taxes, everything was great. And then no one paid any taxes, and there was no enforcement. So it was just like, if you were just trying to, do that, then you could do that. Or there were companies like the person that I was involved with, where they were all about paying their taxes and doing everything by the book. That way they could press the envelope for rights. You can't do that if you're not paying taxes. The first thing they do is say, "Are you following the rules of the program?" You're not following the rules. Get out of here.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, but Maine was great. But then legalization happened, and then big money comes in, so Maine will change too. It's just that Maine is such a small population. There's not a lot of, I don't want to say there's a lot of money, but the momentum of things going on in Maine, no offense to Maine, is not New Jersey, not Delaware, not New York. It's only like 1.2 million people in Maine. Like, Rockland County has 500,000 people. New York City has 10 million people, something like that. So it's like, I can see New York from a hill. I mean, there's no hills in Bayonne, but you can see New York from even closer. You just go on top of a building.
It's very enlightening seeing all the different states' issues. We'd like to see if we maybe can help us work on a patient's bill of rights, and each state can add something or take it away. What they need, what they don't need. We're all working on that, trying to figure out what each state is the best practices for patients. What is best for patients? And clearly, home grow is one of the issues that we can all agree on.
Absolutely. Dude, that's such an awesome idea. That's incredible. Like United Bill of Rights. Like, I think that would be great.
Yeah, for patients. you know, I want to concentrate on patients. I know no mens rea, and I know all that, and I know we're fighting for crumbs here, and we're playing on their field. I get it, but these are our crumbs, and these are our patients, and they need to come first. That's how I feel. Like, patients should come first, and if that's how we have to do it, that's how we have to do it. So that's why we're doing the 710 day. We're taking back that day from corporate cannabis, and from the stoners too. Sorry, stoners. I'm a stoner. I was born a stoner, but we're taking that day back for patients because we deserve it, and we want to put them Pride Day, Patient Pride Day. Call it that too. You know, maybe we can call it that. I like that.
I wouldn't call it that.
No, I went to Disability Pride Day. It was pretty amazing in Montclair. That was cool. It's Pride Month.
I get it, but like I think that's is it pride? I don't know. It seems like a catch-all. You know what I mean? Is it patient pride? Is it patient? I guess.
No.
I guess that is the word that makes that's. The
I don't know. It's what's the used. It's what the word that's being used
yeah,
right
I
now
guess,
by,
I guess that
by
is
everybody.
That, no, I guess that is
Disability Pride.
The most, well, I mean, like I say that, like, but
Imagine if we had a whole month.
whatever. I'm not.
Imagine if we had a whole month of
I'm not a
710.
PR guy. I don't fucking know.
Imagine a whole month of Pride.
Well, you could do that.
Cannabis Pride. Come on, man. I want a month of Cannabis Pride.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, cannabis pride is one thing, but like disability pride, like, we're not celebrating our disabilities. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we are, in the sense that word. That's what that
They're
means.
celebrating their
you know what I mean? Like,
abilities. They were playing guitar. They were singing. They were doing stuff. It was amazing. Yeah, it was pretty amazing because one of
okay, then I'm just living under a rock or something. I don't know.
Remy,
I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was Remy was
All
an
right.
actor. He came out there, and it's more of an abilities thing. It's an abilities thing, and it's about inclusion and about neurodiversity, which I was ignorant to what neurodiversity was until I started going to these parades, and I'm like, neurodiversity. I just never thought about that before. It's just different. It's not, you know, people look at it as wrong or as, you know, people with disabilities are not as good as other people. It's not that, just different. They're just different than other people. And that's the kind of awareness they're trying to create. I really like that.
Well, that's fair. I guess you know what I mean. I guess I'm having a semantic thing. It's just like, you know, like people who are like Italian pride or Irish pride, and it's like, what'd you do to become that? Like, pride is something you get. Like, that's just my own. That's where my stupid argument's coming from. But you know what it is? It's recognition. Remember, weren't we gonna have like a person of excellence? Remember, we're gonna do that.
Person of excellence.
So, cannabis patient recognition. You know, like. But anyway, we don't have to do the marketing on this now. But no, it's just because it's like can't be the only person that thinks this. Never mind my neurodivergence.
No, I would do a Polish pride because I'm a little Polish. I would do that, and I'm Iberian, so I would guess if there was an Iberian pride, I would do some Iberian pride if they had that. Right? That's like Spanish.
Yeah, no, I know what Iberian is. No. I
didn't even know what that was. I had to look at it. I'm like, oh, I'm Iberian. Okay, I had like a couple of percentage of that, a couple of percentage of this.
I think that there's like, you know.
But it's, you know what's horrible about that? I was one of the conquistadors. So I was part of the the white conquistadors and the Spanish conquistadors. So I was like the oppressor on two continents.
So do you
have my relatives,
you have,
my ancestors?
So you have Iberian guilt?
I have Iberian guilt. Yes. Thank you. I have that now. I didn't know I had that. Now I have it because I had to look up my DNA. So I have Iberian guilt now. Thanks, DNA.
I mean, however you want to identify is fine.
Terrible.
Iberian guilt.
On two continents, I'm a oppressor. So I'm trying to make up for it in this lifetime. Trying to make
Just
my
start,
stupid ancestors.
Start by forgiving yourself.
Some dumb ancestors, and they're all boozed up. They're probably all drinking.
Just blame your parents.
They probably didn't smoke weed like my dad. My dad smoked weed. My dad was in Vietnam, and he was a POW in Vietnam for smoking weed. Like he was in American prison because somebody not ratted him out for selling weed. So my dad was a POW in
good
Vietnam.
street cred.
It's funny. It's kind of funny. He has a diary. I read his diary every once in a while. But yeah, my dad was cool. You smoked a lot of weed. So Zoe, when was the first time you smoked weed? Was 14?
Yeah, 14. It was like I guess it was October. I don't know, I kind of remember it. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was like homegrown, like big stalky, like somebody pulled it out of like outdoor grow type of thing, like big stalky, like homegrown. And we smoked it. I'm like not even kidding. Good old fashioned tin can, like
Oh wow!
yeah. I mean, yeah, this is the 90s, so
Wow! So it was outdoor grow.
yeah. I was
Pulled up-
like this like grow that was like found somebody like probably robbed it, but it was like somebody like had all these plants in the woods, like, and everybody like kind of found it and just kind of helped themselves. I remember this kid came back in the neighborhood, he had the whole plant like in his hand, and we were like, yo, what is that? And up until that point I hadn't smoked, but like my friends did. And then like I don't know, there was something that like seeing the plant as it was, I'm like, yeah, like I want to try that. And for me it was huge. Like like I'd lost my mom just a few months prior, and like had all types of other issues like growing up and stuff. And like it was just like a light switched on. I was like, I just wish that there was like the quality of cannabis that I smoke now, because like I feel like it would have helped me so much more.
Did you get high the first time you used it?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't think so. Like, I think it was like some real crappy homegrown. I know they say like people don't get high the first time. I really don't remember, honestly.
Oh, I'm sorry about your mom. Did cannabis help your mom in any way, or?
Dude, it's so weird. Well, yeah, so she died of a brain tumor. And like that was like one of the big things for me, like before I became an advocate, like, some of like the research that shows like, National Cancer Institute, like all these like studies that show that it, helps with cancer, possibly reduces tumor size, kills cancer cells, like all these things. And like I dug up, I used to have like this, I call it Just Say No, KNOW, like library, that I would like haul around the state and try and like educate people about like what the plan is, like all the different research. And I had 50 different studies that showed, going back to like the 70s, where it was like, tested to see like how well it did with cancer, and specifically the type of cancer my mom had, which was a glioblastoma. And you've probably seen some of those studies, like, that specifically say that it helps with glioblastoma. There was a research article just the other day, and it was like groundbreaking. I'm like, I have 50 of these studies, and they date back to this, the 70s, and specifically like THC studies too. So long story short, while my mom was dying of cancer and like going through radiation and chemo, like she went into different stages of remission, and then had a different type of treatment. And I remember, I don't know, this is just what I remember like as a kid, and I was pretty young, but a package came from California, and she talked to me that day about medical cannabis. And this is like, 1990, maybe 91, 92. And she was talking about how it helps with epilepsy, and her friend that's an epileptic in California uses medical cannabis, and she was having like a lot of seizures because of the cancer, obviously. And I just remembered that conversation, and there was no like, as a kid, I didn't like be like, oh, are you smoking? Like I didn't even think to like ask those questions. I never got to know my mom like on that level, like I was too young when she died. And like I just always wonder like where that conversation came from, like out of the blue after this package had arrived from California. So I don't know, that's kind of my story. But I think chemo, was really what killed her. Like it really just wasted her away. And if she were able to have access to medical cannabis back in the 90s, just being able to eat, because she wasn't able to eat, she was throwing up, like she was so sick off the treatment. I think would have just been, huge for her. So that's kind of like the tie into that.
Yeah, we lost my sister-in-law, 2020.
So
Just
sorry.
yeah, just the anniversary of her death, and she had breast cancer, and they didn't catch it in time, and cannabis would have helped her, and I don't know, it's just
Those are both sad stories.
yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. When cannabis can help a cancer patient, you really want to put. I know somebody right now with back pain who smokes cigarettes, with back pain and lymphoma, and they won't use cannabis.
Well, you know what's going to happen there. That's unfortunate.
And I'm just like, I want to give them. I gave them the joint, and she said, "I'm going to throw it in the garbage. Take it back." I'm like, but you'll smoke this cigarette. You'll smoke this whole pack of cigarettes, but you won't smoke a joint. Like, I just, our government lied to us, and your mom probably knew that the government lied to her all those years, because I figured out that the government lied to me at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this. They're full of shit. And I used cannabis all my life at 13 years old, every day since 17. And it's people realize when the government lies to you about something, and you figure out, all right, I need to get this for myself somehow. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we do. My second question is, what's your favorite munchie food?
Munchie, I'm gonna have to say mac and cheese. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I want some mac and cheese right now, and
Yum.
mac and cheese.
Oh, mac and cheese.
I'm gonna go eat macaroni and cheese.
That sounds good.
I gotta run. Guys.
Thanks, Adam.
No
It was good
problem.
seeing you, brother.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
I'm gonna end
Zoe?
the show anyway.
Oh well,
Soon.
yeah.
But
Good
I have
night,
one
guys.
more question.
Seeing you, man.
One more question.
Me too.
If you have a friend who's down and out, down in their luck, feeling down, feeling blue, and you want to cheer them up or give them some life lesson, a life's gem, what's something you would say to your friend to cheer them up, or just give them a gem that would carry them through the rest of their life?
Oh my gosh, you're asking me some hard questions here. I don't know. Oh man, there's so many things that come to mind. A friend that's down and a good thing to say. Well, everything's always easier said than, believed or taken in. Anybody can give, quick advice, right? Like, I don't know, one of the biggest things for me, like we were just talking about, like, death of family members and things like that and whatnot. And for me, like understanding like the oneness of the universe, and it's true, like you can't really say it when somebody's going through something, like, it's hard because you have to be sensitive, but I think part of it is like, like everything's connected, everything is one, and the whatever the issue is, I think a lot of times like it's something that like we'll circle back to time and time again until we address those issues. I don't know. There's a lot of things I would say. This is a hard question, Lefty. I'm mad that you asked me this because but one of the things I always, like receive in terms of like when I'm not feeling well is like honestly, like I swear to God, Bob Marley's song, Don't Worry About a Thing. When that song comes on and I'm going through something, I'm like, no, the universe has my back, trust the process, like everything's good, like just stay focused and, like just believe in the oneness of everything. And, if you just keep doing good things, I feel like good things will come. I mean, there's obviously exceptions to that, but.
There it is. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, it was there the whole time. And it got very deep too. And I love it.
That was a deep question. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. It's a loaded question. You could go anywhere with that. There's a lot of ways to go with that, And that's good. Everybody has a different answer. I always ask those 3 questions to people. And so does Mikey. Mikey was interviewing people about that. Those 3 questions. And I need to make a video of all these answers that I'm getting because they're pretty amazing, and that was one of the most amazing ones ever. So thank you.
Lefty,
Yeah.
so grateful. Like I said, easier said than done though, like when you're going through something, that answer is like, it's hard to see, through everything, I think a lot of times. But that's some of the stuff that got me through some real, real hard times.
Yeah, yeah, that's true though. It is life changing when you have to go through a really severe grief like that, and changing the whole perspective on things, and it makes you understand what we're here for. And every couple of years, I take some mushrooms, and I actually am going to be taking some mushrooms within the next probably week or so. And I usually just meditate when I take mushrooms. Some people are eyes open. I'm eyes closed for a while because I like to meditate with my eyes closed and take mushrooms with my eyes closed. And I'm going to do that very soon and become one with the universe again because doing activism, it's in New Jersey, it's very toxic. The toxic atmosphere in New Jersey is physical, mental, and spiritual, and it's taxing on your soul here doing activism because you're dealing with such ignorance sometimes. I'm dealing with people that don't care about people in wheelchairs, like people that will just walk past a human rights violation and just be like, whatever. Like we have post offices and police stations without wheelchair access here in New Jersey, and we get pushback on that. When we go to talk about it, we get pushback. All these crazy answers like, "Oh, well, we're going to move to another place in a couple of years, so we don't need to fix this now." Like, it's a police station. It's a, it's a post office that you can't get into. I don't get it. So, you know what? From what I understand, is that the most ignorant people and the most evil, toxic people, whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that need the most love and compassion. And I struggle with that. I struggle with that because sometimes they like to fight me, and I'm always ready for a fight. And but instead of giving them the fight, I want to give them more love and compassion. So I'm a work in progress myself.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Just like everything you just said, Lefty, 100% from start to finish. Like I can identify, the very first thing you said about like the toxic environment with like advocacy in it. I don't think it's unique to Jersey. I think it's everywhere. I think, it's like part of like what you mentioned earlier, like the decades of misinformation and, all this like, greedy, like, opposition to or prohibitionists, like fighting this, putting out the misinformation. I think we're going to continue to see, like that, in all the states, even post legalization. I feel like, we're fighting like systemic injustice, like, and the system doesn't want to change, like, and I think like, trench work is definitely grueling, like, and I don't think like people recognize that often enough. But then like everything like you said after that too, in terms of like, it's so funny. I was just going through, I literally reminded myself of the exact same thing that you just said just earlier today, where I'm like, like, because I've been fighting now like for legalization here in the state of Delaware, 10 years and a few years before that up in Pennsylvania and Philly normal and stuff. And I just feel like right now I've recognized I am ready for a fight. Like people come at me like today, like just, I don't know, some random comments by people that I encountered today, like knowing that I work on legalization, and they're instigating or putting out misinformation or saying crazy things about cannabis. And I feel like after those experiences today, I was like, man, I just feel like I'm so ready for a fight, like on some of these issues. Like I need to like simmer down a little bit, but like, like you were saying, like, first of all, like hurt people. So like the people that are coming at us and like all those things, like you said, those people are hurting. Like, and like my idea of like oneness, to go deep on you, but you brought it up, is like, we are all one, so like those people, as hard as it is, it's hard for me to take this in a lot of times, are somehow parts of ourselves. And like it's like I don't know, it's really hard to like grasp that concept, but like something either that you don't like about yourself or something that just injustices that you want to change in the world, but like it brings up something, and I feel like that is something that's something that we need to pay attention to and like, you know, decide where that is in our life, you know, whether it's something that we have to fight or something that, you know, we can say that exists and that's not for me, but I can, you know, like just keep, you know, moving on or whatever, and not let that, you know, let people's toxic negativity move me off my platform or like my frequency. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. That you got to keep your, got to keep it going straight and narrow, like it's been going, and don't feed into the toxicity because we have it everywhere, and I see it up in other states too. They're having their issues with people up in like Maine and stuff, like people fighting each other. I'm like, I can't keep track of everyone's beefs, so I try, you know, I try to stay neutral, but you know, if you support the enemy of one guy and he's a friend, oh, you can't support him. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you know, it's like okay, well, I can't keep track of everyone's beef here, so it's like it's so it's not just Jersey, it's not just Delaware, it's everywhere, and it's probably the CIA for all I know. You know,
Right.
they used to
Right.
do that. They used to do that. They used to infiltrate organizations, and so who knows?
Oh
Who knows?
yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, we post legalization, we just had a rally down in Rehoboth, and law enforcement who's kind of harassed us for 10 years about that particular rally, Global Cannabis March in Rehoboth, you know, came to the rally, plain clothes, let me know that he was there, and then told me not to tell anybody. I was like, we're absolutely telling everybody who you are. And you know, he was a little like upset that I was like going against his wishes, and I was like, well, I don't know why you would expect me to try to keep a secret for you. But then he proceeded to videotape and photograph our rally, and he was talking to somebody like after the rally was over. We were in the middle of like packing things up, but I just real quick, I said to him, and who knows how many other officers were there, you know, like we just knew of the one specific officer in plain clothes, and it was actually noted in some of the media coverage from the Cape Gazette. They took a picture of him and it said plain clothes officer from Rehoboth, you know, at this event, this and the other. But they didn't know that we were being filmed and photographed.
Oh,
And so I went up to the officer and I asked him, I said, oh, I saw you were taking some video and photos. And he was like, yeah, da, 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 da. Didn't really give much of an explanation, just confirmed that he had taken them, and which is his right, I guess. But so I asked him, I was like, well, are you a supporter? Because I was like ruling out, was he doing it as an investigation or was he somehow a supporter and was documenting it or something? And he was like, no, he was like adamantly opposed. And I was like, so you're investigating this? Like, and this is post legalization. It's a First Amendment event. It's like, what the hell? Like, it's crazy. So I think that there's a lot to continue to fight, and you know, it would be easier if everybody, all the advocates, unified and worked together instead of, you know, these differences and squabbles and stuff like that, like the infighting.
yeah, yeah. The infighting kills you. It's really bad because you got a team. You gotta work together. Everyone has a different cog in the system, and you know it is. You, it's like herding cats sometimes. Trying to get a bunch of cats in a room in a circle. It's tough. That's what Jim Miller says. Herding cats.
That's what people say down here, so it's so funny. And that's why what you're doing with 710 and organizing all the states is so incredible, I feel like. That's how I'm like so inspired. Like how you can get everyone and corral everyone is like, it's pretty awesome. And it would be awesome to take it even, you know, bigger, and you know, do some kind of like unified you know, like group of like advocates where we can fight all these corporate entities, the MSOs and everything together, you know, kind of get everyone like working together.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Zoe, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You're the best, and Good luck. And your event is again is it's open to the public, and it's June 16th.
Yes,
And
June 16th, 6:30 to 11:30. It's at Thousand Acre Farms in Middletown. Like I said, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful waterfront venue, right on the canal. So we're looking forward to some amazing sunset photos and stuff like that. So definitely come check it out. Like I said, Delaware Normal, Delaware Can, legalization victory party. So I really hope you can make it. Thanks so much for having me on.
thank you, Zoe. I can't wait to see you all in a couple of weeks.
That's awesome. Thank you again for having me on, Lefty. This is awesome. And I'm grateful for all the work that you do, not just with legalization, but, all of your, accessibility work and things like that. And it's just so inspiring.
You too. Yeah, you're the best. What you've done in Delaware is just amazing. So thanks for all you do, and thanks again for being on our show. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Lefty. See you soon.
Good night. I want to thank cmmmnj.org, Cannasense, UFCW Local 152, JacksonStorms.com, Smoking Monkey, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, Pure Puff Lifestyle Shop, SativaCross.org. You can donate to SativaCross.org at SativaCross.org on the shop page. Go to the shop page and you can donate there. Cheryl Miller, Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy May, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lulu, Bucky, Becky, Jeff. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember.